Welcome to This Week in Guns. This show is brought to you by the Firearms Radio Network and Patriot Patch Company. This podcast offers commentary on the latest firearms industry news, information, and buzz. I'm your host, Jake Challen, president of FRN. You make this show possible. That's right. You simply click through our Amazon affiliate link the next time you're shopping online, and a small portion of your sale goes to supporting pro-gun shows like This Week in Guns. We have a great panel this week. We have Matt DeVito of Downrange Firearms Training. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Jake. How's it going?
You're not Matt. What's going on here?
He's in the closet somewhere. I had to snuff him out.
Your virgin face without any facial hair on the internet for the first time.
It's the very first time the internet has seen me without a beard. It's scary. I apologize. I look like I'm 12. I swear it is me, though.
You do look younger. How old are you?
32. Gonna be 33 next month.
Wow. Peter Palma of MS Clean inventor fame, also top shot contestant and former Marine sniper. Hey, Peter, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
I love your lighting there.
Yeah, I have one light.
Looks like you're at some kind of truck stop venue.
I am in Texas.
Adam Kraut, Esquire of the Firearms Industry Consulting Group, a division of Prince Law Offices PC, hosted the legal brief over on the Gun Collective. Hey, Adam, what's up?
Not much, Jake. How are you?
Doing great. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the individual co-hosts and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Firearms Radio Network or their employers. Your discretion is advised, especially on live shows. Patriot Patch Company helps make this episode possible. Head on over there and check out the AK-47 cleaning mat. High quality cleaning mat for your AK or any gun. I guess you can clean something other than an AK on it.
Yeah, why would you clean the AK in the first place?
That's true. It's an AK-47 display mat.
There you go.
Dangerous off-road patches are in stock. It's Dangerous to Go Alone off-road winch and off-road high lift jack over at patriotpatch.co. Check it out. Top stories this week. First of all, Adam, how's that Facebook Live feed looking? Looking good? Looking good. Got a thumbs up. So you can watch live every Thursday night. We're actually an hour late this week. Actually had some baseball practice to work around. Should be back to the regularly scheduled time of 8:15 p.m. Central Time every Thursday night. You can tune in live on the Firearms Radio Network Facebook page and also on the Firearms Radio Network YouTube page. So either of those pages, you can watch live, probably on your smartphone. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in live. Start with some positive news this week. So we have a story here of a town that had a air quotes hazardous waste amnesty program, whatever that means. I guess you could bring your nuclear waste in and not be asked about where you got it from. So this guy brought in an old side-by-side 12 gauge. He brought in 50 to 75 pounds worth of ammo, mostly oxidized shotgun shells, and a 22 revolver. Well, it turned out, they got looking at this 12 gauge shotgun. It turned out to be a 19th century German shotgun that was in very good condition. And it turned out they actually had on the town hall, town board, there was actually a gun store owner that was, I guess, somehow part of this amnesty program for hazardous waste. And he got looking at it and realized it was a very valuable shotgun, a German. It was made in 1892 in Imperial Germany. And it was possibly worth, actually, it was a 16 gauge, not 12 gauge. It was possibly worth up to $10,000. So they actually contacted the gentleman. He was an 84-year-old older guy, and said, "Hey, this shotgun's kind of valuable," and they actually let him take it back.
It reminds me of that scene in, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, where he's like about to chuck those old guns out that are worth something, and then, well, presumably he gets it. You don't know. They in the movie there for some reason.
Would you have ever thought of this outcome, turning a firearm into an amnesty program in a town or a city where they actually let you take it back? Because
I think because it wasn't a firearms one, that it was like a hazardous waste. That's why it was probably easier. Because I have some friends that are cops in New York, and they'll have these amnesties programs. And my buddy would always send me pictures, and to be of like these really old like FN pistols, from the turn of the century, and some of them are in really good shape, and they're just like really well made. And I'm like, you cannot destroy that.
Right? It's
like I have no choice.
We see it all the time. We see liberals touting these amnesty programs as successes. We collected 20 guns off the streets, and then they show pictures of the guns they took off the streets, and there's always at least one really nice antique piece that you just hate seeing destroyed. And it's pretty cool. This is in the positive stories, because it's pretty cool to see one that's saved from the schmelter.
I never understand why shotguns are so expensive. Like the most expensive guns in the world are going to be shotguns. It seems like the easier of the firearms to make that's not rifled. Generally, there's no like operating system where it has to reload itself. It seems like the most simple mechanism for a firearm that's not like a muzzle loader. But they're always like, if you go to like Cabela's and you see those rooms that are all fancy and you go in there, the one that's going to be $100,000 is a shotgun. And presumably it wouldn't fire shot shells any better than one that's like $200.
Yeah, but I think it has to do with the if you look at like how intricate the engravings get and things like that. That's usually where a lot of that comes from. I think more so than what it actually does.
Like a piece of art more than a machine. I could see that.
Absolutely. Alan on Facebook says that belongs in a museum. So,
of course it does, Alan.
We have top men on it.
Absolutely. So actually have a little bit of sad news here after the positive news section here into the main stories. Bearing arms blogger Bob Owens dies. Owens' death ruled a suicide, and goodbye to my friend Bob Owens by Katie Pavlik. So this happened a couple weeks ago. It would have been we skipped last week's show. This would have been on last week's show. Kind of a big loss for the firearms industry. Bob ran one of the bigger blogs, Bearing Arms. It was at least in the top 5, I'd say, in all the firearms blogs out there, maybe the top 3. We actually had Bob on this show several times, 2 or 3 times at least, a few years ago, and it's really sad to see a gun rights advocate go, especially this way. So
yeah, it's rough.
You can find more info on this. You probably have already read about this. I just wanted to, tip my hat to Bob and say job well done through all your years of gun rights advocacy, and you will be missed. But you can find out more info about this in the show notes. That will be at firearmsradio.tv. Click This Week in Guns. But this has already been going around the internet for a couple of weeks. So ISIS instructs its followers to hit gun stores, and it's easy to get firearms from U.S. gun stores, says Time magazine.
It seems like that would be the most difficult place to get firearms forcibly, unless you robbed it after hours. I see a lot of videos of firearm stores being robbed after hours.
We're seeing it more and more. I actually skip stories almost on a weekly basis of some gun store getting robbed because we've covered them. We've covered how the FBI say gun store robberies are up, and it's become more of the norm, which is unfortunate anymore.
Yeah, they're pretty they're pretty bad right now. I know ATF's implemented a new system of notifying FFLs if there's been a robbery in their area. And I see it I see a lot of stories all the time.
Yeah. And Adam, you work in a gun store, so I guess are you seeing gun stores thinking about taking more measures to protect themselves against this?
Yeah, I mean some already, there's only so much you can do to make yourself not a target or harden yourself. I think some of it, unfortunately, is just there. You have stores that either don't have the funds, don't account for it, or you have in some degrees, you have some clever individuals who get in, not necessarily back out, and then you have other people that's just brute force, tying a chain to a truck to the front door and ripping it out, and you can't really do anything about that, short of leaving somebody there 24 hours a day.
Or just stealing a truck and driving it through the front doors. We've seen that several times. Matt, you ran a gun store for years. What are your thoughts on this? Is Matt frozen? Matt is perplexed.
He is frozen. Wow. In a position that you would think he was just in deep thought. No, he's frozen.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's here anymore.
Matt says he's got storms coming through his area, so he might disappear because they lose power. So,
it's a great position for him to get lost in, deep in thought.
So, what do you think about ISIS instructing followers to hit gun stores?
It reminds me of when they had the Draw Muhammad contest in Garland, Texas. I think Joe Rogan did a comedy on that where didn't some radical Islamist attack somewhere in Santa Barbara or something and kill 11 people or some other country. And so right after that happened, in Texas had a Draw Muhammad contest, and two guys showed up shooting, or some radical Islamist, we'll call them, and they were killed immediately.
Because it was Texas.
Yeah, because Texas. I mean, say what you want about it, but
maybe having technical difficulties across the board. Facebook is saying I froze as well. That's why you can always catch the audio version on iTunes or any of your podcatcher apps on Friday or Saturday of the day after the show airs live. Well, let's move on. Countries with highest murder rates have lowest gun ownership, or counties. Not
counties.
Yeah, might be countries as well. But this article is about counties with the highest murder rates have the lowest gun ownership. Somehow, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it doesn't shock me.
Just to play devil's advocate, I looked at it and how they had the stats. It also, those counties are the most densely populated, so it didn't specify if they were registered firearm owners or not, if they were known, if they're, obviously they probably wouldn't have that information if they had firearms illegally or off the books, and it just seems like in an area where a city that's densely populated, you're going to probably have less firearms because there's less places to shoot them, and generally it's slightly more liberal, and they don't.
Sure, the people that make up more populated counties where there's usually a higher crime are just not the type of people that are gun enthusiasts.
So
are
you trying to think of the word I'm trying to use here is, but I guess is your theory here that because these areas where the murder rate is higher and the gun ownership is lower, it's correlated to the population density, so essentially more urban areas.
Yeah, like when they put rats in a cage and they put like 5 in an area, they can get along pretty good. But then they dump like 20 in there and they start like killing each other and going nuts, and so it's kind of, I'm just saying that it may not be all, because we have a bunch of armed people around, we're a lot safer. Like, I wouldn't make that correlation, which is what this article is insinuating. I still think it's valid, and I still believe in that, but there may be other things playing into this that, if we really want to be unbiased, we'd want to have to account for those as well.
Gotcha.
Am I making sense?
Yep. No, I'm following.
In a more rural area, you're going to hunt. You're going to have a lot more ranges. And if you're in a densely populated area, even a suburban or urban area, there's very few places to shoot. Even in Pennsylvania, or in King of Prussia area, there's not that many places you can even shoot there anymore.
That's true.
And it's becoming more and more of an expensive thing to do. It's not as cheap as it used to be. So I think a lot of those things are going to play into it as well. But you remove those, and I still think you would see a bump and an increase, but maybe not as aggressive as the article is insinuating.
So let's move on to LAPD first. Suspect shot from helicopter. We don't see this very often in the U.S. We see it like in Brazil and other countries. You'll see videos of police shooting suspects from the helicopter, or sometimes in high-speed chases where who knows where those rounds are really going in these urban areas and in some of these third world countries. But apparently the LAPD is taking a step out of their playbook. And,
I would like to see the unedited video of this, because shooting from a helicopter is really difficult, especially without a machine gun. But they're like, the guy is in the house, and it shows him come out of the side of the wall, which doesn't look like a door or window. It looks like a giant mouse hole, if you will. And then there's a wall that's typical around the California houses that is like 8 to 10 feet tall. And you see him come out of there, and then they cut to a shot of him covered with a white sheet, but he's further down this mountainous area. So the house is on top of a mountain, and they're having difficulty surrounding the house because of the very steep terrain. And living in California, I could see those houses. It's a tactical nightmare to try and contain that area. And especially because this house was on top of the hill, so all the officers would have, if they wanted to surround it and make a cordon, they would be underneath it, which is not where you want to be, especially when there's a crazy person shooting. But when he came out of the house, he appeared somewhat unarmed, and then his body was found on the other side of the wall. I'm sure they were kosher. Well, let's see. I hope to think that they were kosher in what they were doing, but I would just like to see the whole unedited video of what happened, not only for my own curiosity, just for the sake of seeing how they were able to take a shot from a helicopter, because it's not easy.
The battle between Keymod and M-LOK. Companion article, Keymod sucks. Now with more proof. So, yeah, the internet has been lit on fire again with this Keymod M-LOK debate. Part of it's due to John Patton. I will place some blame on him. But what do you guys think? Keymod, M-LOK, does it really matter? Can't we all just get along?
I don't think it really matters for your average person.
No.
All my rails are Keymod, and that just happens to be, well, the ones I currently have are Keymod, and that happens to be because when I was transitioning from quad rails to modular, Keymod was the only option. The only reason I went to a modular rail was because it was slimmer and lighter. When I set up a gun, I set up a gun. I don't take stuff on. I don't take it on and off all the time. So I set up my gun how I figure out how it works well with the accessories and the positions that works best for me. And then I make sure all that stuff is locked down nice and good and doesn't come off. So I don't use the Keymod hardware on anything. I use the universal locks, and all I have on my gun is a grip stop on the Keymod attachment points and some rail covers on my SBR, and that's it. So I don't know. I think the modularity feature is neat between them. Obviously, M-LOK is superior, and I said that when it came out, just from looking at it, that it's a superior mounting system as far as keeping stuff locked down and in position. But I think it depends whether or not you're using the Keymod hardware too. If you are, I've had stuff back off and fall off, and I screw that. So that's just my 2 cents. I think the average person isn't going to use their rifle hard enough for it to matter.
Well, this came about because U.S. Special Operations Command weighed in on this debate, and they did a study that was conducted. It was actually conducted last year. It just came out now in like a PDF form that we can all see. It was conducted by the Naval Surface Warfare Center Crane Division, and it was at the request of SOCOM. And it pretty much what you said, Adam. They found out that Keymod does not stay locked in as well as M-LOK. They did some drop tests, stress tests, some pull tests, and Keymod could not hold a candle to M-LOK as far as those went.
That's gonna make Alan very unhappy to hear.
I mean, there's like a bunch. For us, this seems so reasonable that there would be an argument between the two things, but it's so obscure to most people. So I like to be in a room with me and another gun person and argue about this when there's like normal people in the room, and they're like, it's like if I was in a Harry Potter room and they're arguing about Gandalf and the little guy with the little eyeballs, whatever. They're like talking craziness, right? It sounds like insanity.
You mean Lord of the Rings?
Or whatever, yeah. It doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. It sounds so crazy when people, like, 'cause I've been there, or like if you have friends that work at Starbucks and you go out and they're talking about like
lattes and
things that happen at Starbucks that could you imagine what it would look like if I drank coffee? It'd be crazy. I never could go into a Starbucks.
He said his name was Carl with a C. Who spells Carl with a C?
There's all this stuff, but to me, it just seems blatantly obvious that M-LOK is there. From a manufacturing standpoint, all you have to do is mill in a rectangle rather, and it's done. There he is. You don't have to go in the back and do this weird stuff, and it
cams down too. It's just I don't know.
And it's smaller. You could put it more places. It just, I don't even know why there's an argument here. Oh, well, I guess because it's gun world, people still shoot 1911s. Like, oh, it's okay. Like, what piece of technology from 1911 other than that gun do you have in your house right now? Nothing. The drywall's different. There's not a effing thing in this house that somebody quantum leaped here from 1911 would recognize, right? They would have no idea. But no, this thing's the best. So it makes sense in the gun world there would be even some sort of argument that which one is better. It doesn't even matter. It's better is just like go to college. Don't have to shoot guns. That's the best thing. Just go to college, get an engineering degree.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
Stay in school, kids. That's
yeah.
That's what you should get.
Engineering degree is better than M-LOK.
You can pledge your support for This Week in Guns by going to firearmsradio.tv/pledge. You can pledge at the after show level to hang out with us after every other episode. You can also pledge for as little as $5 per month to support pro-gun radio like This Week in Guns. Head on over to firearmsradio.tv/pledge. Gander Mountain closing all stores. This came along the newswire a couple weeks ago. Like I said, we didn't do the show last week, so some of these stories are a little bit older than usual for This Week in Guns. New CEO clarifies that Gander Mountain status that some stores will stay open, and new Gander Mountain CEO promises more guns and better prices.
Seems like a sustainable business model.
No. I mean, they're not making that much. I mean, anybody knows you're not making that much profit margin off the firearms. Like those T-shirt companies, like Noveski and what's the other T-shirt company? Daniel Defense. Those T-shirt companies, they only sell guns so they could sell more T-shirts to make money. Right? They're not making any margin on the firearms. Right? So Gander Mountain is not making the margins on the firearms. They're making margins on you like buying beef jerky or whatever it is in their store. And I have Amazon. I literally can sit here, buy things that are cheaper than
With our
Gander
affiliate
Mountain.
link.
I was getting there. With your affiliate link, right, which I always forget to use even though I spend ungodly amounts of money on Amazon.
Damn you.
I know, why can't they block your link from my work? And that's when I impulse buy because I'm bored. All right, so don't you judge me.
Add it to cart and check out when you get home.
Oh, I can't do that. I need it now. If I wait till I get home, then it's going to be
Can't
2
get the
days.
1 day shipping.
You get the 1 day shipping for free. So like I could either drive my vehicle to Gander Mountain. Hopefully I don't get killed by like some person driving a truck with giant 44-inch tires that can't stop, right? Flipping it upside down at me. and then like to spend my fuel in my Kia Soul, which is only a little bit because I'm reasonable. And then like go to the store and pay tax. And keep your lights on in the store. No, I can just go to Amazon. And when I buy that thing from Gander Mountain, God forbid I do that, I have no idea the thing is crap or not. But I do on Amazon because there's reviews. Like I don't go to stores anymore unless I need like eggs. Like Amazon, sell eggs so I don't have to go out anymore.
I do that all the time in the store. If I'm buying something in the store, I'll still scan it with the Amazon app and see what the reviews are.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's perfect. And I look at it, I'm like, wow, I could get it for free. I don't have to pay tax. I hate paying tax. I can't stand it. It's like the dumbest thing ever.
Who's going to build the roads if you don't pay tax? Though?
I will fly. I'll buy a helicopter. I'm no, serious, not even joking. If you just said, Pete, we're not going to tax you anymore, I would have enough money to buy my own helicopter, and I could get lessons and fly it everywhere. Don't build any roads. Let those things crumble to the ground. I don't care. Let the peasants walk on them. I'm over it.
You know, Robinson, his goal was to have a helicopter in every family's backyard. He said that's how it was going to be. And then
Who's Robinson?
He invented a helicopter, the Robinson helicopter. You should look it up.
The Robinson. I know. I kind of like
the one
helicopter.
on Magnum PI.
I don't know.
No, they're little. What's the one that like if a helicopter? It's a gyrocopter. Those are neat because if your power goes out, no, not that. It has like a big whatever. Google it. What's the next story?
So no, I want to talk a little more about Gander Mountain. And you know, we went through the drama of them going bankrupt, and they charge way too much for guns. They charge more than anyone else for guns,
and people still shop there.
And so the new CEO Lamonis. He actually has a reality show on like NBC or ABC called The Prophet, where he'll go in and like partner with these small businesses that are kind of failing, and he'll get them back on their feet and turn everything around for them. And it's actually a pretty good show, The Prophet. Check it out.
I should make a show where it says Gander Mountain, any brick and mortar store, liquidate yourself to Amazon right now. Take the cash you can get while you still have some before you go bankrupt, and go sit on a beach somewhere. It's over. It is over. It's done. Like Macy's, JCPenney's, Radio Shack, any store after I could go to, it's over. I have Amazon. I'm from the future. I literally could buy stuff on an airplane while I poop going 600 miles an hour, 30,000 feet above the sky. Sell your store.
With the Firearms Radio Network affiliate link.
With the Firearms, and yeah, I can on the airplane. Yeah, with the Firearms Radio Network link.
But you still drive on the road like a peasant.
Yeah, well, it's because they take an insane amount of taxes. I did like them. I have to do the math. It's like 34% of my paycheck goes to. I don't know where it goes to.
The roads.
But, yeah, right. The roads.
And they still suck.
Yeah, they're terrible.
So anyway, some people have been concerned that Lamonis is going to cut firearm sales from Gander Mountain because he owns Camping World, and maybe he'll just make them more like Camping World without firearms, because some people think he's anti-gun because of comments he made about what was Trump's TV show? You're fired.
The Apprentice.
The Apprentice.
He was also on Top Gear one time. American everyone, not the British one.
The Apprentice. Apparently, Camping World pulled their advertising from The Apprentice over some hunting stuff that was on it. So they're like thinking, this Lamonis guy is anti-hunting, anti-gun. But he has commented that they're not getting rid of guns. They're definitely keeping guns, because firearms are like the biggest segment of what Gander Mountain sells in their stores. That's what he says. So
they're terrible. Just go to Bass Pro or Cabela's.
He's a businessman, so I don't think he's going to cut out gun sales necessarily because of his personal feelings. It's the dollar reigns supreme there. But for the people that are concerned that Gander Mountain is going to stop selling firearms, what is wrong with you?
Who cares? Does anybody listening ever buy a firearm from Gander Mountain?
I went to Gander Mountain once. That was in college because it was close by. That was the last time I've ever set foot in a Gander Mountain.
I bought my first gun from Gander Mountain when I turned 21.
What was it?
Bought my first
you got ripped
gun.
off.
What was it? What was your first gun?
It was a Walther P22.
Did it work? What year was this?
Would have been 2002.
Oh, wow, it's early. I think I got like the Walther P22 I got was like the 2000s one made, and it was terrible. It never worked. The magazines, it didn't work. But eventually they redid the magazines and it did work. Did yours work?
Yeah, I still have mine. Mine works pretty well. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So, but I think that's just it. I think a lot of people buy their first gun there. It's accessible. It's an outdoor store. It's not a gun store with the gun store counter guys that often run people off.
They laughed at me. Well, I'll have to tell the story. I was 18. I go, oh no, I was older. I was 21. I was like, hey, I like guns. I'd like to learn more. I'm willing to work cheap or whatever. Instead of getting a job at Taco Bell or whatever, I'm like, I went to the gun store. I said, hey, if you guys need help, I'll do whatever it is you need. The guy behind the counter literally like laughed at me. I'd never like I had went in with jams on. Those shorts that went down to your knee, jams. Whatever.
No.
Nobody knows what jams are. Like I had my stonewashed Levi's pegged at the bottom. That he laughed at me like that.
And
he was laughing now.
Why wouldn't he laugh? Yeah, that's why when I see the younger shooters, I'm like, here's a free kit. Like whatever to screw this old grumpy old guy. Right here's like a kit. Or whatever I can do to help out your support your cause. That's the future. Like he should not have done. I don't know how to go about that.
Yeah, I mean it's terrible. So many old grumpy gun store guys give so many people the wrong first impression of what the firearms community is or could be. So let's move on to Black Aces Tactical unveils $199 poor boy AR-15 suppressor.
It's about time.
Oh man, this thing. So here's some food for thought for listeners. My understanding from what I've heard and read, if you look at the materials they use, the 316 stainless, not so great for internals. It quickly erodes. 4130 also not so great. It apparently rusts fairly easily even if it is coated. Perhaps the thing that really bothered me the most about this is if you looked at their Facebook page, he took a couple screenshots from a forum that's a private forum for licensees for dealers, for FFLs really, and he took a quote from somebody over at Gemtech and kind of out of context and used it to really just more or less tar that his stance on veterans, and it's not right. So I mean, I got a little love for Black Ace's tactical, and if you look at just their product for that matter, it's 25 ounces. So you're going to take a 16-inch gun most likely, and you're going to stick almost 2 pounds out of the end of that. Come on, for a dedicated 5.56 can, nonetheless, not even a 30 cal. Sorry.
Listen, I feel you, but what I also feel, as what I've been feeling for a long time, is why I understand the materials like Inconel and things like that are very expensive and they're difficult to work with. And I have 11 suppressors at this time. So I'm like, I don't even know why. I'm just like, give me these things. Yeah. But why are they so expensive? It's a tube. It's a million years old. Like, why is this thing so expensive? I understand materials are expensive, but it is a
machine time. R&D.
You can buy R&D. Suppressors have been around for over 100 years now. What is there to R&D? It's like, we have to R&D making a Model T Ford. No, you don't. The thing has been done. You just soup it up, and just everybody's doing it anyways. Just copy an M4 2000 or the direct thread version of it. AAC's old direct thread version. I forget what it was called. The cheap one. Why are these things so expensive? My M4 2000. Now, granted, I bought it in the panic on a sat phone for $1,200, but you could buy a complete AR from Palmetto State for like $400. That's a whole rifle with moving parts and all this crazy stuff happening with it. Why are suppressors so expensive? Now, I did buy a 3D printed suppressor for like $1,600, but it's only like 6 ounces.
You were super excited about that too.
It's awesome, yeah, but I mean, I can see that because it's 6 ounces, only 3 inches long, and it's really cool. But as far as the other ones go, they're just some welded stuff. It should not be that expensive. So it's kind of neat to see a tube with some baffles in it selling for $200, which it should be. I don't know. I'm not saying it's a nice can. I would never buy it because you have to spend another $200. So there's your investment. So you double that. And if you spend a little bit more, you're going to get a lot more back. But at the same time.
Well, the question becomes, so it's inexpensive. That's all well and good. But you also got to look at it. You're paying a tax and waiting time. That's the part that I think most people are going to forget when they look at cans like this. And especially if we're talking the status quo as far as the NFA process, right? So you're spending the same amount of money on the tax stamp as you are on the can, and if the can gets destroyed or over time or short period of time, was it worth that skimping on paying for a better quality can up front?
I would say yes, because I have an M4 2000 I've rolled on. You know what I mean? Like whap whap whap. I've been around a lot of full auto guns, threw it on there.
Sure.
And it's great, right? But I would say for the majority of people, you're not going to have full auto, and it's going to be in your gun safe. So you can pull it out and show your friends, look, I have a suppressor. Oh, it's really great. So for the price less than a Glock, and you wait a little bit of time, yeah, that's a pain for most people. You can have your own suppressor. And it doesn't matter how heavy it is, because these people, the majority of people, it's going to be in the gun safe. The only time they're going to pick it up is to like show it to somebody, how cool it is, or to take it from their car to on the range, and they sit on the sandbag and shoot it. Like, it shouldn't cost any more than $200. It's a tube. You could buy a whole rifle with moving parts that has explosions happening inside of it for $400 or $500. Why is a suppressor $600, $800?
Well, I think one thing we're going to see if the Hearing Protection Act ever passes, we're going to see
It won't, but go on.
ton of $200 and less suppressors.
I think you're going to see a lot of disappointed people too. But
yeah. Well, we shall see. Anyways, let's move on to Taurus. The T4SA, Taurus's new AR-15, apparently will be designed and built in the U.S. of A. Will that change your opinion of it?
No. It needs more than just designed and built in the United States to change an opinion.
It's like I'm at the Million Man March and a black dude showed up. Like, I couldn't care. I mean, there's so, like, you would never notice that. Another AR-15, a new AR-15? Are you kidding? Is this some joke? Am I taking crazy? It's like I'm taking crazy pills. Is this like, I had to look, is this an Onion article? Can we go to the next one? Please. Seriously. Another
no, Taurus,
Taurus, too.
no one
Whatever.
wants
No,
literally,
whatever.
literally, no one wants your AR-15.
Yeah, no,
Taurus.
just go home.
Okay, so Steyr files patent infringement lawsuit on the P320 on the Sig.
This is really the only source you could find for this article.
Well, it's a reputable source in the gun sphere.
Wow. Okay.
It's kind of, I hope it doesn't. Never been a Sig fan, but I really like the idea of the 320 and its potential.
So the complaint is all about the removable chassis, which Steyr apparently has a patent for a removable chassis that they filed in '99 and was approved in 2001.
I didn't know that.
That's very, very interesting.
The removable chassis, it's a mind-boggling that said it didn't happen before. You can do so much. You could literally just take this little pig and you could make infinite type of pistols. You could do.
It looks like it did happen. It looks like Steyr's suing them because
they are. No, they are suing them. But I mean,
right? But I get what you're saying. Why did it take till '99? Why didn't it happen way before that?
I mean,
well, I could see why it didn't happen before then.
Yeah, you would say arguably the VP70 would be the first firearm that could potentially have had something like that, but you'd have to have massive forethought at that point.
Yeah.
Then Glock comes out, and
the forethought.
Yeah.
Time frame makes sense based on the advance of technology and polymer.
Sure.
Exactly, and the Glock got kicked right in the wang with the Brady bill right when it's in its swing, and I remember people like, why would I buy a Glock? Because I could buy a 1911 and have 8 rounds or 10 rounds of 9mm in a Glock. So it made a lot of sense at the time to kind of, if I was Glock, I'd be like, man, this is terrible because you're in the swing of coming up and the laws that will be, especially in America, have shut it down. I think if that didn't happen, maybe something like this could have happened a lot sooner. 99, what was it? 2004 is when it's moonlit. So Steyr has never really had a giant presence in America for really anything.
Right. Well, we'll have to stay tuned to see if their complaint. So they only filed a complaint in the U.S. District Court or Northern District of Alabama. So we'll see if this goes anywhere. We'll have more news on it later if it does. New Jersey, more Sig Sauer in the news. New Jersey sues Sig Sauer over defective pistols that were sent to their state police. Apparently, their state police had quite the problems with the Sig P229, and so many problems that the New Jersey State Police eventually threw their hands up, sent the pistols back, and said, "Hey, we're done." They had failure to extract malfunctions from pretty much day one of these new pistols, and Sig tried to remedy the problem with several solutions: extractors, springs, barrels, a complete new shipment of pistols, which then again seemed to have faulty barrels. I don't know. It seems really out of character for Sig quality, but it seems like the New Jersey State Police don't think much of "quote unquote" Sig quality.
Yeah, I don't know. Reading the article is interesting. It's better part of a year they spent trying to diagnose and fix and replace and stuff like that. I wonder, reading the comments actually brings up an interesting thought. I wonder if they at all attempted to see if the ammunition was the cause of the issue as well.
Or man, I'd hate to say that, but user error.
Sure.
Yeah, depending what they had, but what firearm they had before to this one, SIGs are a little unusual, I would say, compared to most firearms. Modern firearms you're gonna handle. What I would have liked to have one that has a failure to extract. I would have liked to shoot it because I've seen failure to extract a bunch of guns with people like limp wristing it, or I will actually sometimes demonstrate to people how you can make a failure to extract by limp wristing a firearm. So I don't know. I mean, SIG's quality is pretty good. I don't even like them. So, but they've always made good firearms, and it's just really unusual, especially if they're trying to do all this stuff. It seems like the first thing I look at is user error. You have to eliminate that before anything else, and I didn't see any indication of them trying to do that. And since it's all happening in one department, it's either two options. All the firearms that were sent to that one department are terrible, or maybe the training is so terrible that they are inducing these failures. That could be an option. I'm sure there's a bunch of Jersey cops that hate me right now, but I don't go to your state, so suck it.
So, Sig did have some failures here. They eventually did say, "Hey, we're going to replace all the guns and send you an alternative model to what we initially sent you." And then they couldn't deliver. They missed the deadline for delivering those. They were like, "Okay, we'll replace them all," and then they couldn't deliver them on time. And at that point, it seems like the New Jersey State Police had enough and decided to move on to a different brand of pistol altogether.
They should just buy Glocks in the first place and just let them roll. Come on.
You look at the amount though, $856,000 for holsters and reimbursement of testing and evaluation costs, in addition to the 1.7 for the guns.
That's probably like 3 or 4 guns though. So since they're SIGs.
Okay. I'm offended. We're to the I'm offended section. I'm not necessarily offended, but somebody here is. We're not doing all these. But we should probably
this one
do at least one of them. Any stand out to you guys?
This one right here. Columnist who defended ordinary quits after being suspended and then does the awesome modern thing and makes a bunch of cool tweets. I mean, this was the best one.
All right. You take that one, Pete.
All right. So I'll just do it real quick because I want to get to the rapid fire one. There's a columnist that gets suspended after kind of sort of comparing ISIS and the NRA, which I think the parallels. However, they put her on suspension. She's like, F this, I'm out. Well, and then there's something playing. An article. And so so the writer is black. And so she says, my column on the NRA being nothing like ISIS got me suspended from the newspaper. And she posted a picture of an AR-15 and it says, it's because I'm black, isn't it? But she had a bunch of other posts, but I'm sure that was the one that
that's
whatever.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. She gets canned for defending the NRA, and then she posts, "It's because I'm black, isn't it?" with an AR-15 on Twitter. So it looks like she went to the NRA show, she was at some trade show. Maybe that was shot. Hats off to her for actually going to an industry trade show, learning about firearms and stuff, learning about what the NRA is about, and writing truth rather than propaganda. I think we have to take middle school student suspended for liking a gun folder photo on Instagram. So this kid, he didn't do this in school. He did this after school. He liked a picture of a gun on Instagram, and not just any gun. Airsoft. A craptacular airsoft gun. Terrible photo, terrible gun. And apparently this middle school has these I don't know what you'd call them. These people that monitor students' social media accounts after school hours, and he was suspended for it because who knows what a kid might do who likes a picture of a gun.
Okay, we lost.
Looks like
It's
Adam's
just,
having
it's
connection
just
problems.
you and I.
I guess there's really big storms in the Northeast this night, so we're losing. I see we're losing
Is this even legal? Can you do? Okay, so like you have the Second Amendment. Like this sounds crazy. Then I'm going to be a crazy person. You have the Second Amendment, Constitution is there. You have separation. I don't see how this is legal. How is it legal? He's at a public school. My tax dollars, my tax dollars, the Ohioans and everybody's tax dollars, because there's federal tax dollars that go to this. It's legal. It's not even a real firearm. They expel him from a school that I'm paying for. I don't see how this is legal. Hey, Adam, where's the NRA at? Where's the NRA fighting for this kids' rights? Shouldn't be liking. I do agree. Shouldn't be liking airsoft stuff, but
it says their policy states that. First of all, the superintendent says concerning the recent social media posting of a gun with the caption "ready" and liking of this post by another student. That falls under their zero tolerance policy of violent, disruptive, harassing, intimidating, bullying, and other inappropriate behavior from students. It's I don't know. It's like, what planet do we live on? I guess you're subject to whatever the school policy states if you choose to go to a public school.
How can you choose to go to a public school? What is your alternative? You may not have an alternative.
Yeah, I mean, it's the public school. The public should have a say on the policy, I'd say.
Especially when you're doing outside of. I don't see how this is legal. I don't see how it's legal. Like, forget guns are good or bad or whatever it is. I don't see how it's legal to do this. Where is their legal? Does he not have a legal recourse? Yeah, you're a lawyer, dude. Why don't you answer this question? How is that legal that they can take him out?
I'm good on the legal questions.
Listen, I have to answer plumbing questions all the time, even though I don't plumb anymore. Oh, there's poop coming everywhere. I know. You have 6 girls that are, of age. They're flushing their stuff down the toilet. It's going to clog it all at the same time. They sink. They get in sync. Okay.
Okay.
They have to throw that in a trash can, not down the toilet.
We can move that talk to This Week in Plumbing. Amazon, you can contribute to Firearms Radio Network and This Week in Guns by shopping our Amazon affiliate link, like Peter in great detail outlined earlier how you can order on Amazon using our affiliate link. Just go to firearmsradio.tv/Amazon. You can bookmark that link, or you can, anytime you're shopping Amazon, you can go to firearmsradio.tv, click the Amazon banner, add it to cart. You can check out later. Don't have to check out right then. You can check out later on the app if that's how you want to do it. But I need you to click through the firearmsradio.tv website first. And a small portion of your sale goes to supporting pro-gun shows like This Week in Guns. We're to the full auto news segment, stories the real media won't talk about, and other crazy stuff. Each of the hosts picks a story here to call their own. So who's ready?
I could have sworn this would have been a Florida story. Apparently not.
Florida man.
What now? Woman charged for warning shot aimed at teen having relations with neighbor's dog.
That's not what it says.
It does not disappoint. It's from Arkansas. I would have guessed Florida. Sorry, guys. So this woman was charged with a felony after she fired a warning shot at a 14-year-old boy who she caught having sex with her neighbor's dog. She was charged with aggravated assault, and he was charged with 2 counts of bestiality and 1 count of criminal trespass. She was alerted to the teen after she heard her own dog's barking. When she looked out the window, she saw the teen outside with the dog he raped last time.
What? What do you mean last time? This happened before? Wait, what?
Apparently. Wow. I don't even know how to. The lawyer. The lawyer for this woman has the best quote ever. There's a difference between pointing a gun at a 14-year-old kid for no reason and pointing a gun at a 14-year-old kid because they're having sex with a dog.
What is the reason? Dare I ask?
Because
What is the difference? I want to know.
I guess defending the dog. That's unreal.
Okay, it doesn't surprise me. This is Arkansas. I'm
Well,
sorry
it
to
does.
say.
I swear, I would have suspected Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, there is a Florida story though. We do not disappoint.
All right. Well, you can do that for second round. Pete, what do you got?
I'm trying to get I might move back up north, so I'm trying to have my grammar correct.
My wife hates it when I say got. Hates
I done got this here article about China. No, okay. They're launching an aircraft carrier, and much like the one we wanted to name Bodie McBoatenstein or something like that. Like they're like, let's vote. What should we name this boat? Holy crap! I rhymed. I'm a poet. I didn't know it. And we all voted Bodie McBoatenstein, but the military's like, no, we're not going to do that, and they called it something clever, but like a boat off the side that like lowers down from that boat. They called Bodie McBoatenstein. But this one, they wanted to call the pie shrimp, probably pie shrimp, right? Which, if you don't know, is really the mantis shrimp. Which you like, it looks really ridiculous. It's like this big weird animal that's a bunch of different colors and giant eyes. However, it is one of my favorite creatures ever, because it's one of those things where it's just like screw, like there's these rules. The scientists try to put everything in these little areas, and like bam, you have like 3 color receptors. It has 16 color receptors. We could see colors. Imagine like 13 colors you can't imagine, like a color you can't even imagine, and then do that like 12 more times. That's what it sees. And they have 2 mantis shrimps. One is the punchers, and they have like little arms, kind of like a praying mantis. That's why they call them that. Unless you're in China, they call them pie shrimp. And they have ones that like have like little barbs on them that hook things and eat, or they have ones that have like little balls and they're punchers. Boom! And actually, it's like the only animal that could break the sound barrier. It produces cavitation. So when it hits something with its arm, boom, it produces a cavitation bubble, and then that bubble like contracts and creates like an immense amount of heat and shockwave, and it just makes everything just like if you tased it. And they just go around like crazy, like beating the crap out of everything. They're like super violent creatures that have like the broadest color spectrum of any other creature on the face of the planet. And they look insane.
What did we learn?
They learn that like China is going to take over the world. They name their ships over stuff like this. We name our ships USS Nimitz after like a dude from World War II. Like he was cool and all, but he can't produce cavitation or break the sound barrier by himself, or he only sees 3 color spectrums, and the mantis ship sees 13 or 16. I mean, it's over, guys. We should just sell our stock to China and move it there. I'm actually teaching my son to speak Chinese, so for when they take over, he can bargain for my life.
Okay, then.
Oh, that was amazing. So I guess I need to pick something. Home invasion victim waits an hour and 27 minutes for police to arrive.
No way.
Not surprising. happened in Dallas, Texas. Yeah, that's pretty scary. So, hour and 27 minutes later, police arrive after the phone call.
It's helpful.
Did not
Second-
find the place. What was the? Do they have an excuse?
It says they indicated there are frequently dozens of serious calls holding with no one available to answer. So
In
apparently they're
Dallas?
shorthanded.
Oh, really? Because in Dallas one time, I got pulled over by a cop on a Segway for crossing the street when it had the hand up instead of the walk guy. So maybe you could take that a-hole and have him go save this dude, because he held me up for about 27 minutes asking for my identification because I crossed this. I'm like, he's like, what did you do? Why didn't you stop when because he made his little, I looked, there was no cars. It was a one-way street. And,
Right.
there was no machine gun bullets coming down the street. So I crossed and I heard a noise, like an alarm. I look back and there's this cop on a Segway with pushing the button for the alarm. And I assume he's fixing to go do something important. So I turn around and continue about my walk. And then I hear a noise right by me. I turn around, there's a cop on a Segway. And he's like, why didn't you stop when I did my little button at you? I'm like, I didn't know what you were doing. I was just walking across the street. What did the sign say? Did it say hand or did it say walk? It said hand. He's like, and what did you do? I said, I crossed. There were no cars.
I'm an adult, thank you.
I'm an adult. It's
I
like,
tie my own shoes in the morning, sir.
yeah,
You ride a Segway.
I mean, come on. It's like everybody. You can't act like that and expect people to respect you. Come on. Yeah, I cross the street. I do what I want.
All right, second round. Did you want to take the Florida story, Adam, or something else?
No, I'll do that one. So apparently, footage from military drones was accidentally streamed on the internet. I guess last Wednesday, drones were recorded above the Florida coast, and they were aimed at civilian jet skiers. The video was, I guess, from February with Predator drones, and experts have deduced that civilians were being used as, quote, dummy targets. And, if this was in Florida, then might not have been a total loss.
Yeah.
I mean, you get pretty bored. You got to do something.
All right,
Yeah.
Peter, you got another one?
Let's see. Well, I mean, there's like, should I do something as contrived as man shoots himself in the penis while getting out of the car? No. I mean, I appendix carry occasionally, but still, people are like, you can't do it. It's impossible. No, it's possible. You shoot yourself right in the wing. This guy did it. I tried Googling the guy's name. I could not. I needed to see what this guy looked like, but I couldn't find it. But he was heard screaming. He had been shot while getting out of his car. Yeah, I'd be screaming too.
Well, Toledo police say he's expected to be okay. I mean, if you get shot in the penis, can you ever be okay? I just.
Well, there's John Wayne Bobbitt. He's okay.
Is he?
Bonus points for if you know who that is.
Oh, okay. Nothing else? Okay. Let's wrap it up. You can pledge your support for This Week in Guns. Go to firearmsradio.tv/pledge. You can pledge for as little as $5 per month. You can also pledge at the after show level and hang out with us after every other episode. Head on over to Patriot Patch Company. They help make this episode possible. Patch of the Month Club enrollments are currently open. You can check out the AK-47 display mat because you don't ever have to clean an AK. Also check out the dangerous off-road patches and all the other dangerous to go alone patches at patriotpatch.co. This is a part of the show where we see what these guys are up to and where you can connect with them online. Pete, what's up with MS Clean and where can people Miss Clean and where can people connect with you online?
We are at mscleankits.com, or you just type in MS Clean. We are we're doing good. We're just steady going. I just sort out my personal life. Like, I had to buy a house and do adult things, which I wasn't too keen on doing, but I had to go do. I traded in my my turbo.
You bought a Kia.
I bought a Kia Soul, but I used to have a Barth, which was awesome, kinda. But it's awesome because it's such this little car, and you're like, look like a dork, and there's a dude in a giant truck, and he's fixing to like roll coal on you. Which if you're not from the South, it means like, oh, look at this little guy, hippie in a car. With this little car, I'm gonna like reset my computer in my diesel engine, and then like when I pass you, all this black smoke's gonna come out. But I have 200 horsepower. However, my car only weighs 2,000 pounds, so my horsepower to weight ratio is much more than a truck. Because he put like giant tires on it, and there's like rotational acceleration you have to count for the weight of the tires, which he didn't. So anyways, I see him fixing to do it. I hear the turbo wind up. It's over, dude. I'm gone. But now I just have to eat it because I have a 130 horsepower Kia Soul. It's 1,000 more pounds, and it has 70 less horsepower. So that's my life right now.
Adulting is sad.
That's terrible.
Yeah. So mscleankits.com. You guys have the single and the double.
Yeah, and we're fixing to team up with Operator Survival Tool, even though that's kind of like the name's a little operator, whatever, but it's actually a carbon scraper that is a lot better than one we designed. It's pretty well thought out. I made a little bit of changes. Hopefully we're going to team up with them. And I prefer to do that, find like-minded companies that I could work with in lieu of ripping off people, which is generally what happens. I try to be a little original. So instead of like making my own lube and saying, oh, I'm whatever, I teamed up with Frog Lube, I teamed up with Breakthrough Clean, and I include them in my kits, even though they have some profit margin that I would be losing out on. I think it's just better to make teammates within the industry than it is to, cut people's throats and do whatever. So I try to do unique stuff, and we got some things coming, but it's going to be a little bit.
Very cool. And social media. Do you use social media?
I don't do Facebook because I just can't handle Farmville or anything like that. But I do have Instagram, Miss Clean Kits, MS Clean Kits, at MS Clean Kits. However Instagram works. I don't know. I don't even do it. Somebody else just does it for me. But they post stuff.
Adam, what's up with Legal Brief and everything else you do, and where can people connect online?
Legal Brief is keeping me busy as usual, really busy. So that's good. People can find me online. If you go to Facebook, you can search Adam Kraut. There's a public figure page. Go ahead and give that a like. If you want to follow me on Instagram, where you can see me post pictures of all kinds of fun things, guns, dogs, other animals, and some of my adventures, you can do that at the Adam Kraut, because somebody took at Adam Kraut before I got to it. So
Who?
Presumably another Adam Kraut.
Oh, really? Wow.
Presumably. So that's where you can find me online, and you can check out my website, adamkraut.com. That will be being relaunched here hopefully by Monday.
Very cool.
Super cool.
My Instagram account is MS Clean Kits. That's it, at MS Clean Kits.
All right, you can leave your feedback by commenting on the bottom of the YouTube video and the bottom of the show notes. Leave us a review in iTunes and contribute to the show using that Amazon affiliate link. That's a wrap. Thank you, Peter.
Anytime.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
And thank you, Matt, even though the storms knocked him out early on. And that's a wrap. We'll see you next week.